We are live with the community. This is the Microsoft 365 and Power Platform Development Biweekly Call. Today is August 29th, our last call in August, everybody. My name is David Warner with Quisitive, and I will be your host for the call. Let's take a look at what we're going to talk about today. We're going to have the latest updates on the community. We're going to hear from PNP.NET libraries and updates and PowerShell and all kinds of wonderful things. Then we're going to talk about some amazing samples, script samples, team samples, Power Platform samples, and then everyone's favorite time, get those fantastic faces ready for Together Mode. And then we're going to have three massively awesome, actually four presenters of the day. Benny's going to be here talking about exploring generative AI and Power Automate using AI Builder. And then Nandeep and Smita are going to be talking about streamlining internal marketplaces using Microsoft Copilot and a Teams messaging extension for classified listings so we can sell those amazing things we want to get rid of. And then Chris is going to be here just to wow us with horseplay in list formatting and tips and tricks. So we look forward to all those. But first, let's talk about some resources that are available for each and every one of you in the community. We've got our YouTube channel, and this is the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube videos. It's the same channel we all know and love, just got a new name. So if you've been out for the summer, you come back and you think, why is everything different? Don't worry, just the name, Microsoft Community Learning. You can get all the amazing same videos that we've always been outputting on that channel. But if you're not subscribed, I encourage you to do so to get the latest and greatest and know exactly when they drop. Of course, we've also got our LinkedIn group for discussions. This is an interactive opportunity for all of us. You can go into our LinkedIn group and collaborate with other members of the community. So we encourage you to do that as well. We've, of course, got our open source tooling and initiatives, things like CLI for Microsoft 365 and PNP.js, all those other wonderful tools. And did I mention sample galleries? We got a ton of them. Community samples that include team samples, SPFX samples, Power Platform, list formatting. We've got Copilot prompts now, so we'll talk a little bit about that. Lots of great things available for each and every one of you. Now, all you got to do is remember one URL. It's aka.ms/community/home. It will give you access to everything here. And by the way, absolutely free. So please take advantage. I mentioned that YouTube channel name. Again, it's just the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel. So it's not new. It's just renamed, but it's going to have all the amazing things that we already know and love in it, but some new stuff, right? So we're going to open it up to things like Copilot and Dynamics 365. So we want to be embracing and inclusive. So we're going with a more generic name there. It's where we're all going to take advantage of learning together. And if you're on this call, it's because hopefully you like calls, but we got plenty more for you. First up is our Microsoft 365 and Power Platform weekly call. Now, this is weekly with Microsoft speakers, so you get to hear directly from the mothership, those program managers and product managers back up at Microsoft that are building the amazing stuff that we love to use each and every day. It's been on vacation, but it is back. Yes, it's back. Guess who's back? The call next week on the 3rd of September. So make sure if you've been ignoring that invite because you're thinking it's on a summer break, well, it's back. So definitely come and join us on Tuesday, and we'll have all the latest and greatest in the agendas, and we'll start letting you know what's up and coming soon. Of course, we got our monthly Power Platform call, which is going to be happening next month. It just happened a couple weeks ago. Office add-ins and our Microsoft 365 and Power Platform community and Vive Connections and SharePoint Framework. Those are the bi-weekly calls. You are now on the M365 and Power Platform community. It's just look for that little "you are here" thing. That's where you're at with us. So you can get all the invites at ak.ms/community/calls. Encourage you to get them on your calendar. These are one of the best ways to learn and collaborate with the community. Speaking of that particular agenda, Anshul is going to be here, 0 to 1 in AI Pro Code Extensibility Example Solutions to build for scale. And then Mark's going to be here talking about getting started with SharePoint Embedded using the updated VS Code extension bot for collecting feedback from users. So it's a mouthful, but it's awesome. So be there again, 3rd of September. It's back. And if you're watching other presenters today and you think, man, I got some cool stuff that I want to share, but I'm a little, is it allowed? Can I do that? Absolutely, you can do that. We encourage everyone. Everyone's welcome. All you got to do is fill out this form, ak.ms/community/request/demo, and we will get you scheduled. We'll reach out and let you know when is the best date. And again, if you've never done it, don't overthink it. Don't overcomplicate it. Just share with the community what your passion is. I promise they'll love it. Someone will find value in it, and you'll feel great about it. And if you want a buddy, let us know. We'll buddy you up with a member of the team or a member of the community. You can work on the presentation together, present together even. Even Todd. In fact, Todd, I'm going to reach out to you, and we're going to present together. I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Todd and David, that's going to happen. Yes, woo. All right. And if you're also watching things like some of these samples and you're like, I want to use them, I'm not quite sure how, and you know what? I actually want to contribute. Can I do that? Yes, absolutely. We welcome that as well. The Sharing is Caring program is here, and it provides hands-on guidance in a safe space opportunity. What does all that jargon mean? It means that we're going to join a live Teams call together, and we're going to learn how to do things like contribute to GitHub, contribute a sample, give back to the community, and you'll do things like submit a pull request. Even if you don't know what a pull request is, you're going to walk away knowing what that pull request is. So it's a safe space, which means we don't record it. You can ask any and all questions that you would like without fear of, is this going to get recorded? Should I already know the answer to this question? We've all been there. I do that all the time. So don't hesitate. Don't sweat it. We are setting up a tentative date for September 30th. So just trying to get that locked in. So if you have something on your calendar, look for that. And of course, we'll tweet out once it's fully locked in and baked in. So keep an eye out at aka.ms/sharing is caring. And then once you do contribute, guess what? You are going to get a badge. Yes, a stinking badge. We want to recognize you for the amazing work that you're doing. And this is how our community recognition program works. You opt in, absolutely free, by the way, and then we will start showcasing your contributions using badges. They're powered by Credly, so they can be associated to your LinkedIn profile, add them to your blog. You can put them on Twitter, put them on the fridge, send them in those cards at the end of the year. Everybody's going to be wowed and appreciate it. And jokes aside, your managers want to know this. Your clients want to know that you're making a difference. So definitely get involved. All you got to do is opt in. Only once. If you've already opted in, no worries. We will continue to track the work you're doing in the community. And of course, we got some new ones coming up. Prompt Pro, Promptimber is right around the corner. That's this weekend, and Promptober is almost here. These are special edition badges. Those two last ones, Promptimber and Promptober, only available during September and October. And then, of course, Prompt Pro, you're going to start seeing those coming out this week. We are processing those badges for those that have contributed to the prompt repos, such as our Power Platform prompts and our Copilot prompts. So please, please, please take advantage. We've also got some opportunities for those that are going to be attending the Power Platform Conference. So we've got a community lounge, a super user panel, roundtable. You can volunteer. Go to ak.ms/ppcc_volunteer, and you can take advantage of being involved. So you kind of see what the layout concept is going to look like here for the conference. Lots of opportunity to reach out, help out, meet other members of the community, share your passion with those who are unaware of what we have in the community. So we would love to see you there. I know Shane Young will be there. A number, April Dunham will be there. I'll be there. Hugo Bernier will be there. Lots of people will be there. So we look forward to seeing each and every one of you. All right, let's get into some project-specific updates, and we will start with our Copilot prompts. As I mentioned, it's a prompt library that allows you to contribute all those Copilot prompts. So if you've done some and you think, hey, this is really cool, share it with the world, ak.ms/pnp-prompt-library. And we want to showcase Arjun today for his prompt of the week, showing a list of attendees for a meeting/meeting name. Show me the list in a table, name, organization name, all kinds of stuff. So it's really distilling down the necessary information that you want in a digestible way. So very, very cool, Arjun. Thank you so much. Again, could you be our next prompt of the week? I guarantee it. We would love it. So get some submissions in. And let's move into PNP.libraries with Bert.
Thank you, David. On the PNP.NET side, we have changes, similar changes in both libraries, both Framework and ChorusDK, done by Steve Winward. So we did some fixes around the GCC and GCC High URLs that we were using. It appears that we are using wrong URLs for the regular GCC environment. So we assumed it was one, but GCC High and regular GCC have different URLs. That's fixed now. Thanks for that. Thanks, Steve, for that. Then Gautam did bump the MSOL dependencies for like a cool new feature in PowerShell. I guess he will talk about it. If not, I'm not going to say anything with Gautam, so up to you to talk about those changes. And then finally, Christian Zulik did fix like a nasty issue we had, like SharePoint pages now have like a page header web part and not like a kind of a page header structure inside the page. And Christian did the work to make the Pages API library in ChorusDK compatible with that change. So thank you for that, Christian. And that's it from my side. Moving to Gautam for PowerShell. Thank you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Bert. Got him?
Thanks, David. Thanks, Bert. So in PNP PowerShell, the last time I was here, we were at version 2.5.0, and now in 4 weeks we are 2.10.0 now. The thing is, we have been facing a bunch of issues related to the certain assemblies and signing of stuff. So we released a bunch of releases. So now it is all fixed. What changed here in the PNP PowerShell? So if you're not aware of that, PNP Management Shell, which is the multi-tenant app which powers majority of the commands that you use, is going to be deleted on 9th of September. So I would encourage you all to update and use your own Entra ID, Azure AD apps for that. We have a bunch of documentation around that, so I'll be sharing the links in the chat. Please go ahead and do that. What else is new in the latest nightly builds? What we have done here is we have added, we have bumped the MSAL version, but that's the internal thing. The one other thing that which is very important is that we have added support for Windows Hello, FIDO keys, as well as conditional access policy authentication to all the Entra ID apps as well. So if any of your Azure AD apps support that, we will do that. This only applies to the Windows OS systems, but yeah, that's how it works now. So feel free to check it out in the latest nightly builds. Would absolutely love to have your feedback on that. Besides that, Power Platform commands will also now run on the non-commercial cloud as well as the US government or US government high tenants as well. We also update managed identity authentication and improved support for that. What else? We improved set PNP folder permission and get PNP file sharing link commands. What else? Yeah, PNP document set command, the command to create a document set now also supports creation of document sets inside a folder. So yeah, that's all we have done in the latest nightly builds. What else? Would absolutely love to hear your feedback on overall things with PNP PowerShell. So feel free to reach out to us on GitHub as well as on Discord and on the issue list. So looking forward to hear from you soon. Thanks. Over to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Gautam. I love how you just said, like, we changed the world, but that's all we did, right? So we awesome stuff. It does so much amazing things. So thank you, everybody. Let's move into script samples with Paul Bullock.
Oh, thank you, David. So we've got a wonderful set of sizzling new samples for you. So we've got 281 scenarios and 390 scripts in the library so far. So this includes things like Microsoft Graph SDK samples, PNP PowerShell, SPO Management Shell, CLI for Microsoft 365, and many more. And also it's integrated with things like the Solution Sample Gallery, and Adam Wojcik has created some awesome extensions that will help bring this through to you if you're using Visual Studio Code as well. So the new samples, we've got 5 new samples for PNP PowerShell. So this is Find Every Page. It contains a modern web part by Casper Larsen. We've got Retrieve SPFX Details from Tenant and Site Collection App Catalogs by Reshmi Aklu. We've got API permissions for SPS Solutions by Kinga Kazala. Ensure all content types are available before the Get PNP site template by Casper Larsen. And we've got Get SharePoint site settings, again by Reshmi Aklu. And we've got some new samples involving the Microsoft Graph SDKs. So we've got Grant Managed Identity Permissions, Audit and Cleanup, SPFX App Principal Permissions by Kinga Kazala. And finally, we've got Remove Unused API Permissions assigned to the SPFX app principal there, again by Kinga Kazala. So awesome set of contributions there from the crew there. So I'm really, really happy with those. So thank you very, very much. That's appreciated. But if you're looking to perhaps get your name on the list, you want to contribute, we've got a load of contribution guidance on the site, or if you want or you need help or you want to know how things work, then by all means you can send me a direct message or post on the GitHub issues list. My handle's there, and LinkedIn and Twitter is both at PK Bullock. If you want to reach out, and I'm happy to help. But thank you very much. And if you do help, you get these wonderful badges as well. So it's part of the badge program, but make sure you opt in, and then you'll get one of those. So again, thank you very, very much, and have a great day. Back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Paul. Let's move into team samples with Paul Bullock. Bob German. My goodness, I'm just repeating myself. Bob German.
Hey, how's everybody doing? We got another great team sample to add this week from the amazing and inimitable Marcus Moeller. And this time this is a really technical one, but potentially really useful, right? Sometimes we all love the graph, but sometimes you got to call that native SharePoint REST API, in which case getting the authentication working, it can be a bit of a challenge because it's not as well covered as the graph and all the docs and everything. Marcus has not only solved that, but he's also got refresh tokens working, so it will automatically refresh after the short-lived token expires. That's all living inside of an Azure function. And then he's got this nice React app on top. So totally recommend this if you want to build some Teams tabs that use the single sign-on with the SharePoint REST, and I think maybe also the graph also built in there. So thanks very much, Marcus, and back to you, David.
Awesome. Thank you, Bob. And last but not least, our Power Platform samples. Gomo created an image generator that we can utilize using Copilot and all of that. So definitely check that out. By the way, also our prompts, Power Platform prompts. So both the Copilot and Power Platform prompts are eligible for that new badge. So definitely get contributing there. Super easy. One of the easiest ways to contribute and take advantage. All right. Well, what time is it? It is together mode time, so get those cameras turned on. We would love to see those fantastic faces. We will move this over here. I see everybody starting to populate in. We'll get Camtasia going, and there we go. Boop, 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 boop. All right. We still got some seats left. All right, excellent. I see Todd. All right, look at this. I'm loving this row next to Vesa and Todd. I'm between two amazing all-stars. Look at that. Woo. I could just retire now. I'm done. I've done it all. I've done it all. Excellent. Okay, couple more seats, everybody. Got just another second or two to get in. There's Bob. All right, let's count this down. 3, 2, 1. Woo, look crazy. Love it. Love seeing everybody. So many smiling faces. Looking great, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being the amazing people that you are in the community. All right. Let's move that back on over. And let's start moving into our amazing presenters of the day. So Benny is here. He's going to kick us off with exploring generative AI and Power Automate using AI Builder. Benny, you want to take it away?
Okay. Good everyone. We'll share my screen.
There you go. Looks great.
Thank you so much, Dave. So today, during the era, we're going to be looking at this. And my name is Benny, I'm a data analyst at ARM.com. I'm also a technical writer as well. AI Builder is a feature in Power Automate or in Power Platform generally, actually, that allows you to use AI models to create and use them to improve your business processes generally in any of the components of the Microsoft Power Platform. So today we're focusing just on generative AI. Generative AI is a type of the AI technology that allows you to produce content. This could be text, this could be images, and this could also be audios as well. So we'll be focusing on 3 different business use cases today. We're first of all focusing on so when we move to what the AI model could do, it actually could do a lot more than just generative AI. You could use to process documents, use to process images, you could use to process text. But we're going to focus on just the generative AI capability of this particular builder. And what it can help you do, you can summarize text. You can use to draft replies, which we're going to look into today. It goes to classify and extract. And it also builds your models using custom prompt as well. Okay, so the data that we're going to use today is going to be a review from some UK stores in some of the feedbacks from customers in the Amazon from the UK store. So once I get the data, I kept it in an Excel file. So that we'll just use an Excel sheet for now. So this is how the data looks like. We have the URL of the product's name, the review, the titles, the feedbacks actually from the customers, and as well as the ratings and what dates they drop the feedback, as well as if anybody found it helpful and some other important information as well. So the AI Builder, you can find it in AI Hub, which is here. So once you go to the AI Hub, you are going to be looking at those generative AI part, and that's what we're going to look at the prompts. So the prompt allows you to create prompt which you could use in your flows in Microsoft Power Automate. So we're going to start with the first prompt, which is going to be for us to summarize. So what we want is whenever a customer gives us feedbacks, we can summarize this feedback and also focus on exactly what's the issue with the customers. So this is going to be the very first flow we're going to build. So it's already built because of the time limits of the presentation. Okay, so we're going to work with a manually triggered flow. So once the flow is triggered, this part of the flow is going to get the different going to get the rows in this particular pipe. So I've shortened all the feedback to only show us the first 400, first 400 rows of the data as well. And once it lists all the rows in the data, the next one I'm going to do is to create an HTML table so that it gets the data in a way that is very readable. So we create the HTML data. Then this is where I add my prompt. So the prompt I use is the summarize prompt, which is this prompt that was written. And so the good thing about this prompt is it's really very easy to use. So all you have to do is like create a prompt here with using ChatGPT prompt, and you write in your prompt message following the rules. So you have very specific your prompt, and then you put in your input. So by input, they mean the parameters that makes the parameter that the prompt is going to be looking in. So for example, this summarize model is looking at the feedbacks. So I need to analyze the feedback, which is in this HTML table, and summarize this feedback and focus on just the content of the feedback without using external data so that it doesn't isolate. So once it does that, it summarizes the prompt and it gives us a prompt. So that's the very first example. So what I have to do is I will just save this and I'll run a test. So once you do use the AI builder prompt in Power Automate, it always comes up with this warning, and it's just so that because again we know that using AI, it can give you false information or incorrect information technically. So this one just acting for a form of approval system. So that maybe you can either approve or reject it once you see the feedback and maybe you run your this thing. It's more like a checker. So you can test or we do a manual test and we test our prompt. Takes a while. And run the flow. So I just have to wait for series of work. Let me also open this up on business case as we are waiting for the flow to run. Okay, so it's done. Okay, so this is it. So based on the prompt I was given, it analyzes different tests and it has actually given us the feedback. So it summarized each of them, the positive and the negative of what each of this the customer says. So for example, this one about the sneaker, she mentioned like it was a unique. However, she had problem the reliability issues with the plastic materials. And just like that, it gets you. So you could, if it is like a feedback form you have on your platform, you could actually make it a way that it gets as a message or it gets sent as an email to the customer service department as well. So the second use case we're going to look at is we're looking at the use case where we can't see us with this using the sentiment. So we want to have a use case in which we can see the sentiment of our different feedbacks. So when we get sorry. So this second VK is going to analyze the positive and negative sentiments in our data. So we're going to get whether the feedback was generally positive feedback or was it a negative feedback. So this is a way for you to classify your feedback based on those that are compliments and those that are complaints of the customers. And you can now move all your complaints to a Jira board or to a Microsoft Planner for your team to take a look at these different feedbacks. So what this does is we're going to use an apply stage because we want it to analyze each of the feedbacks as well. So we're going to use an apply stage. We get the value of this out table, and then we're going to use the analyze positive or sentiment feedback. And we're going to make it English. Then give it the review test, which is the column that owns the feedback, and then we add a row to the table. So just going to add a row to the table, and it's going to create a new table with all the details of that customer, and then we also get the sentiment as well. So once we do that, and like I said, where we run it here, this is currently still running, because once we run it, we're going to have our data on a different sheet, which is the sheet. And what we now see is we get the product name, the reviewer, the title, the text, the review date, and have the individual sentiment of each of these different feedbacks. So once we have this, we can also then again just take a look at just the negative feedbacks and take that up with the respective department that should handle these feedbacks. Then the final demo we're going to look at is we're going to take a look at using it to get customers that send you feedback by mail. So this flow, what it basically does is whenever you receive a new email on your inbox. So for example, I get this, and once you get this inbox, so once you get this inbox, it's going to take the content of our email from the HTML to a text so that we can make use of it. If I'm going to use this positive or negative feedback to get, I want to just use the exact same sentiments I was used there just to get the positive and sentiment feedback. And once we get that, we're going to use a condition. Now I want it to filter it. So I'm using a condition that I'm using when the prediction is negative. So when it's greater than 0.05, that means a negative. And I wanted that whenever it's a negative, this particular mail gets sent to the customer, maybe thanking them for like complimenting us on our service and assuring that we'll keep doing better. And if it's a negative response, we can tag it up to a customer rep or to the product manager or video account manager to handle it. So what this prompt does is, so this now we have a prompt for negative email and we'll have a different prompt for positive emails. So we can take a look at the prompt. That's it. So this is the prompt for the positive emails. So what this prompt does is just receive the emails. It takes context, mindful of the context and the substance. And again, I don't want to do this there somehow because I wanted to customize the email in a particular way. And she just goes straight to the point and thank the customer for that. Then the last one we have is the negative email prompt. So this email prompt is going to, I want it to be more conscious and understanding. I also assure the person that we're going to look into their complaint as well. And lastly, I don't want to start with this because I also want to make it again, like I mentioned, to be very so in a very customized way as well. So once you add that, so like there is a condition here that whenever the probability is of the negative is greater than a particular amount, then you should send the users want to analyze the negative email. And then this is where I customize the image to look in a particular way. And then he sends an email back to the customer, telling them that we're listening to their feedbacks with the output of our AI model. And it also tags in, for example, our customer rep as well. And then we also have one again for our negative, for our positive or positive email. It also again runs through our model. It puts the sample of what it gets, which is probably to thank the customer for our service. And it sends this now back to the customer as a form of a reply. So to test this prompt, we'll need to send an email to the Outlook account. Yeah, so this is the Outlook account. So I'm going to send it. What is my phone? I send it to my Outlook account. Or anybody can actually send an email to this particular Outlook account to so we see what the sample of the email is going to look like. So I send an email. And I'm sending the email right now. So send the email and you can send the email very soon. So this email. So I sent an email to express my satisfaction with what I bought to that I purchased from a particular store. So what our module is supposed to do now is supposed to reply this email by also forwarding it, but also assuring the customer that we're going to work on it. And if we go back to our flow, we should be running those. Okay, so it's run successfully. And if I go to my email, I'll see you right. So I'm just going to open my Gmail account. This is flow. So what the flow does now, it addresses this and then it gives me a reply for the customer. So tell the customer going so I can decide the sentiment of the customer where I get help and assist. And the feedback is appreciated. And it also now tags it to the respective department. So in this case, I tagged it back to myself. But in a real life business use case, you probably tag it to the customer service rep or the product team to take a look at the issue as well. So that's the three use cases you can use AI builder to use in PowerSuite.
All right, Benny, that was very, very slick. Just kind of showing end to end very quickly there how you can set up AI Builder to do that sentiment analysis. Super valuable, right? Because we do have those use cases, and you can even life hack it with this. Get emails that need to be bubbled up and aware of, and so it's not just a use case for, say, customers or products or anything like that. We can find ways to use it. And by the way, everybody, this is Benny's first presentation, so I mean, I think he deserves an extra round of applause. Thank you for stepping out of that shell and sharing with us your passion. Did great. Thank you so much. All right, let's move on to Nandeep and Smita. They're going to talk about streamlining internal marketplaces using Microsoft Copilot in a Teams messaging extension for classified listings. So take it away, you two.
Thank you, David. Hi, everyone. It is great to be here presenting our sample on classified listing Copilot, specifically for streamlining the internal marketplace using Microsoft Copilot and Microsoft Teams messaging extension. And thanks to David for this catchy title for our demo. So in this demo, we will show you how Microsoft Teams messaging extension can be extended as Microsoft 365 Copilot using Teams Toolkit. And we will demonstrate this by walking you through the demo as well as the code of a classified listing Copilot, which is developed as a messaging extension, which enables users to easily post, buy, or rent items within Microsoft Teams, providing easy to use seller and buyer kind of an experience. So we are the authors of this community sample. Myself, Nandeep Nasan, I'm Microsoft MVP for M365 and AI platform. And I'm privileged to have this sample developed along with my sister and fellow MVP colleagues, Smita Nasan. So here are our social media handlers to get in touch with us for any further discussions.
Hello, myself Smita Nathan. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can
Yeah,
hear you, Smita.
thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, so greetings from Pune, India. So here is an example use case built for Copilot for a company internal marketplace. So the classified listing Copilot offers a corporate employees a convenient way to build, sell, or rent the items right inside the Microsoft Teams. So it saves the time by allowing the transactions to happen within the work environment without needing to use outside the platforms. So let's say, for example, the employees are searching for the items, can quickly find what they need through an inbuilt search powered by Copilot, which filters and sorts the listing based on their preferences. So here are some of the driving factors behind implementing this Copilot sample. So the first one, it is to simplify the process of creating and managing the listing. So the Copilot streamlines the entire process, making it easy for users to create, post and manage their listing. Second one, it allows user to interact conversationally. So the Copilot enables the user to engage with listing through natural conversational interactions within the Microsoft Teams. So these conversational approaches make it easier for the employees to ask the questions and post listing, all within a familiar chat environment of Microsoft Teams. So the third one, it extends the Microsoft Team extensions as Copilot. So by building on existing team extensions, the Copilot enhances and extends the functionality of Microsoft Teams. So it transforms these extensions into the AI driven tools that provide the intelligent assistance, making the routine task more efficient and integrated into the workflow. So this Copilot is created using a Teams toolkit as a messaging extension, and it's available to download, use and explore under the Microsoft Teams Development Community Samples repository on the URL displayed on the screen. So please do explore and share your feedback with us. So let's say that how this functionality work within a Microsoft 365 leveraging the capabilities of Copilot. So the first one is the posting classified listing. So the user can create classified listing for the items they want to sell, buy or rent. This could be done through messaging extensions or the Copilot features in Microsoft Teams. Second one is a searching listings. So the users looking to buy, rent, or search for an item can input their search queries in conversational manner. Let's say, for example, show me all the available apartments in Helsinki, Finland. So the Copilot can refine the search results by understanding the user preferences and the context. So for example, filtering the results by the location, price range, or a item category. So the third one, managing the listings. So user can manage their existing listing, making the edits, updating the prices or delete them as and when needed. Fourth one is the most important term for the security and compliance. Since the Copilot operates within the secure Microsoft 365 environment, so the all user data, including the listings and the transactions, is protected under Microsoft compliance and security frameworks. So the Copilot can be configured to flag inappropriate content or manage the listing approvals to ensure that all the posting stick to organizational policies itself. The fifth one and the last one is enhancing user experience. So the classified listing copilot enhances the user experience for both seller as well as for the buyers by making the process quick and easy. So the sellers can effortlessly create and manage their listing while the buyers can interact with this listing directly within the Microsoft Teams. So this streamlined integrated approach saves the times and improve the convenience for everyone involved.
All right, so that's interesting. Let us see what are the prerequisites that we need to develop this kind of a solution. So we will need Node.js version 18 or Visual Studio Code with Teams Toolkit extension installed, Microsoft 365 as well as Microsoft Copilot license. And then we are using blob storage in Azure Portal, but again, you can feel free to use SharePoint list or any of the other options. And for this solution, optionally, you will need to use Azure Storage Explorer if you want to view or edit the Azure tables used in this sample. So this is how the table schema looks like. Onto the right hand side, we have the listing city where you will be able to list out all of the cities by their name. And again, we do have partition key and row key, which are the by default columns there. We do have listing type other table, which signifies what kind of an listing we have, for example, buy, rent, or sell. And then again, we have the main table, which contains the title, description, price of the item that someone wants to buy, sell, or rent, along with the references of the city and type. And then we are storing owner ID and owner name so that we'll be able to filter and display the user information. And we can obviously optimize this further by applying the normalization technique, but this is the schema that we have to start with. All right, so with that, let's get into the code as well as the demo. So this particular sample is available as a Teams extension. So obviously just wanted to show you how the Teams extension looks like. So this is how it will look like. You will be able to go to the team message compose box, and then from there you can search for the classified listing. You just need to search for the item that you want to see for, and then you will see the listing. Once you click on the listing, this is how it will look like, from where you will be able to see the basic information about that listing, including the owner information, the listing information itself, like what kind of a listing that is, the price associated with that location and when it was posted, and the description which was given by the user. At the same time, for example, if you are the user, you are the owner or the person who have created that listing, you will get delete kind of an option. And for example, if you want to go ahead create another listing, you will get a new listing option wherein you can specify the title, description, price, city, and type, and then you can post out that listing. When it comes to the Copilot kind of an experience, here we do have a couple of things. First thing is a basic prompt. Basic prompt, it is like we are giving a very simple plain English language like find bikes in classified listing, and it will go ahead find out all of the bikes which are there in the classified listing. So again, there is a citation. Once you click onto the citation, it will show you all of the information related to that particular item. Again, this particular Copilot plugin also supports advanced kind of a prompt, wherein you will be able to combine multiple things together. For example, along with the classified listing that you want to search for, you can specify location. So for example, here is the prompt which says find bikes in classified listing in a certain city called as Mumbai, or maybe a bike which is under some kind of a price, and then it can filter out and give you all the information. So this is how the experience looks like when it comes to the Teams extension as well as Copilot. Now that let us look into the code. So this particular solution has been created using Teams Toolkit in Visual Studio Code. So the solution structure looks like the same that you create. The major thing here is the manifest.json, because this is the place from where your Copilot plugin get kicked off, and then again your Copilot will be, or the Microsoft 365 Copilot will be able to get your plugin by looking at the metadata that you specify inside of this manifest.json. So here we have a specified metadata, for example, ID as a classified listing search, and a specific name given to it as a classified listing with a description, and even this semantic description to help better Copilot understand our plugin. There are certain parameters that we are specifying here, so that based on the natural language that we get as a prompt from the user, this particular Copilot plugin will be able to get the information on that from those entities. For example, name of the item or the title of that listing item, the location where we want to search it out, the type of that listing item, for example, sale, buy, or rent, and then the price of that item. So this is the information that we grab from the prompt which was sent by the user. Then this one is our main or the entry point from where we are passing on all that information to our specific class, which is a search command kind of an extension which is created. And here the main magic happen, like we just have a look at the queries which are being passed. So we look at the query parameters. For example, if it is just one query parameter, we just try to map it to either item name, type, location, or price, which is specified there. Or if there are multiple parameters, we try to get the exact values for those parameters from here. Once we have that information, we simply make a call to the Azure table storage to get the information. So this is the code wherein we connect to the Azure table storage to get all the classified listing. And based on the criteria or the prompt which was given by the user, we filter out those products. And once we filter out those products, we need to make something, or we need to use something called as an adaptive card to show this information. So for that, we do have this card handler, which will help us to make the data bind to that template, which is available inside of this JSON-based adaptive card. And then this particular card is now shown to the user with the form of this UI that we see onto the screen. So this was the basic thing. We just wanted to show you a very simple kind of an Copilot, but it shows the strength, like how you will be able to create the solutions on top of Microsoft Teams, and then help your users to have some better engagement. So with that, again, thank you very much. If you want to have further discussion, please feel free to connect with us, and then we'll be more than happy to take this discussion further. And thank you very much for this opportunity.
Awesome stuff, Nandip. Thank you and Smita both. Great job on that. Really cool. I love how the technology can be used not just for straight up business, but it can be utilized within the businesses to help out our personal lives as well. So I really, really love it. And of course, there's extensibility for that we could use within business as well. Maybe we even ask Copilot what it thinks we should use it for. Very cool stuff. Thank you both. All right. Well, everybody, it is time to get with the Warrior Horse magician, Chris Kent, list formatting tips and tricks. Take it over.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, and I suppose you can see me too. Great. Wow. All right, let's begin. So we're going to talk about some list formatting, exciting stuff. There we go. Let's bat over here to our classic Warrior Horses site, as we do, right? Now, as you are all aware, the annual Tournament of Hooves is already well underway, right? So the Tournament of Hooves is a very exciting event where the horses battle for blood, battle, and glory, and murder, and whatever else, right? But the idea is that they're, of course, managing all of this in SharePoint, as we all do, right? So they've created a list, right, for their tournament called the Tournament of Hooves. All right, so let's head on over there, and it's an exciting list, right? You'll see there are 16 teams, and they are competing across 15 matches, right, for their glory, and who shall be the greatest warrior horse of all time. So this is okay, right? I mean, we could do it this way. I mean, you could clearly read the information. You could see this team went over this team, right? And maybe we could pick the winner here, and that's cool. Or we can put a format on this thing, right? So let's check out our bracket, right? So this is a 16-team single elimination tournament. There we go. Right, so what we've done here is we've drawn this with list formatting, right? One key difference here is we are drawing these as individual rows, not as a single massive row. And I'll get into that in a little more detail in just a moment here and why that's important. But that is, we can do this, and let's take a look at what that might look like if we were, let's just split this view with this guy, right? So I'm just using the edge split so I can just see both the list here, so I can edit it, right? So we can mark a winner, right? So if studs versus neighbors, we're going to say the studs win, right? And then if we refresh that, because I don't want to wait on it. No, let's refresh this one, not that other one, right? We can see, hey, studs is now bold, right? Neighbors has been crossed out, and the line is no longer dotted, right? We start to get solid, right? Then we need to come down here, so that means match number 9, of course. Studs is going to be the team here. All right, studs, you're up. All right, we don't know who they're up against yet. You know, if we refresh that. Oh, dang, I keep refreshing the wrong one here. Let's refresh this one over here. There we go. We can see studs has moved on to the next guy here, and we know that this is to be determined because the lady horses, the lucky lasers, have not yet matched off. Right, so as you can see, we can start to go down here, and we can mark these as we go. We can see who's winning, right? We can come down here. We can say cute bunnies versus the bronies. Obviously, the bronies would win and completely destroy those cute bunnies, as we all know. So let's click over here. Let's refresh this guy, and so on, right? So we can keep going through it, like that, and this thing will draw it all out nice and evenly. Wow, 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 wow. So let's take a look at how we're doing that behind the scenes, rather than watching me fill out a bracket here in a list, even though that is very exciting. Let's make that bigger. Ooh, prettier. All right, so the way this is working is these teams, right? You'll notice I'm just picking a team, yet we have this icon and other information here, is coming from the herds list, right? So we have a herds list here where I have specified the team name, right? And then I've got the background icon. This is a Fluent UI icon name, all right? A foreground icon, which is optional, and then you specify background colors or foreground colors. And you can see I have a lovely little format here that is just drawing those so I can preview them. If we take a look at that in isolation, all right, we can see that a little bigger. There we go. Let's make this guy come on over here, and we'll make that bigger. I'm using the SP formatter. Well, the SP formatter didn't work. So let's enhance that again. Let's try that one more. There we go. Okay. The idea is I just want to see this code all together. You can see it's pretty basic. Well, I say it's pretty basic. It's not that basic. The idea is, right, we have a parent div. We're using a relative position on that. And then inside we use absolute position just to layer those icons on top of each other, right? So we've got the background icon just being drawn with that icon name property. Some position information here along with the color. All right, and then we come down here and we can see that we're also doing the foreground icon, right? And we're saying if you don't specify color, you get white. And then we're just slightly shrinking it down and position it in the middle. So that's it for how we draw the icons. But by doing this, right, we can contain all of that information. Now, you might do this differently, right? Like I like to use the icons, right? And you can find all sorts of fun icons here over on Flyken.io. And if you filter by solid, right, you can find all sorts of really good ones that are great for tinier icons you're trying to overlay like that with each other. But if we head back over here to the herds, you can also do things like, hey, I just want to put an image URL, right? Now, I would say you won't be able to use an image column and some other stuff, and the reason for that is I am using projected fields or additional columns, if you want to call them that. Right? So if we take a look at our list, right? So this guy right here, column settings, we edit this column, you'll see what I mean by that is I've got to look up to that herds list, right? I'm just pulling the title because that's the name of the team. And then I've got these additional columns. So I'm saying, yeah, make sure you give me the icon, the color, the icon, and the color, right? That way I can use them over here in my other format so I can also draw them. And that's what I'm doing to pull those over. We've looked at how you might do that a number of times. There are limitations on these projected fields, right? Like I mentioned, the image column won't be projected. You can't use those. Even things like a choice column won't be projected. So that can be irritating. But that's okay. You're just trying to make some of this stuff work, and maybe you're not managing some of this data in the list anyway, right? Maybe you're pulling some of this information in from a Power App or somewhere else. Okay, anyway, blah, blah, blah. There we go, beautiful. Okay, so the way that works over here, then I have what's actually behind the bracket list looks a little more like this data-wise, right? So you can see I've got all of those projected fields with these beautiful names here. They're so beautiful, right? So SharePoint's come a long way in terms of the names, right? We can put a name with a space. It no longer puts that %20 by default. Projected fields are still in like 2010 mode or whatever, right? So projected fields still get incredibly ugly names. And in fact, we can see those if we jump to code on this bracket, right? So let's just get out of here. Yeah, we don't need you anymore. Bye. Right, so let's just take a look at the code here. Blah, blah. Let's enable the enhanced formatter, right? So enable that guy again, so I can make it big, so we can see it a little easier. Okay. All right, so what are we doing here? All right, and how are we layering this stuff up and how are we projecting these things? And the only thing I wanted to look at first is looking at how those values look, right? So this is what one of those projected columns look like, right? That is the background icon. This is the background color. Thank you, SharePoint. So beautiful. Right, now again, I got those, but I just went to the list settings and I clicked on the column and then I copied it out of the query string, right? So you can get those this way. But these do have a predictable naming pattern. You can take a look at that. But okay. Yeah. All right, so now, real quick, I want to take a look at the theory behind this and then we'll see how it actually got implemented. So I've shown this before, but this is important here. This is kind of basic column formatting, right? So if you go to column formatting and you format that column, when you apply your format, right, that format is then drawn on each and every row each time, right? So your format does not have access to other rows, right? I can't compare values against the next the next row or previous rows, anything like that. I can access some aggregate information, but again, that's only in the aggregate section, and so on, right? But the idea here is the whole format is evaluated every time on every row, and that's an important concept when you start looking at the kind of thing we're doing here, right, and the approach. So the view formatting complications. So that works great for column formats, right? Because that's pretty much exactly what you want. You want it to draw every time. But if you're trying to draw something with a row formatter, that's where you control the entire thing, right? So we're not just doing additional row classes. We're not necessarily just trying to do specific rows. You can see that, like if you take a look at something like this, right, we're using row formatter, but you can still see these are individual rows, right? You can kind of see that there's no unified approach, kind of like we're seeing here in the bracket, which it all looks together. So what's the difference, right? So when you're doing the row formatter, right, everything is drawn every time, all right? And you can't determine if things are last. You can't determine if they're first using the row index. That's the positional position drawn. And I'll say here, if you want to draw everything and really have full control, you need to hide selection because that takes away some of the extra stuff that SharePoint's sticking in there. Okay, so what am I talking about here? I'm talking about the conditional elements approach. Right, so there's the idea of the traditional row format where you're stacking up the rows, maybe doing other stuff. Conditional elements approach is stacking them not, one after the other, but literally on top of each other. Right, so that's what we're doing, and then we're using dynamic display using conditions. In our case, we're using the row index for position-based, but you can also do, column-based, like if I wanted to use the actual match name or something like that. So the key here is because they are stacked, you're relying on absolute positioning, and if you're not careful, you can kill your tooltips, hover panels, links, and more, and be sad. So let's take a look at that, and what I mean by that, right? So you'll notice up here, I could come over here and I could say, here's match one, here's team one. What if I wanted to add a tooltip, right? Because you'll see, like, for instance, down here, right, like Steeds of Steel here, their name gets cut off, right, because it's a little too long. It doesn't fit the bracket. We've got the text ellipses for that. That's great, but maybe we want to put a tooltip, right? So we're just going to say attributes, and then we're going to say title. And in this case, we just want to put the full name, right? So that would be the team1.lookup value, right? There you go. So now, technically, what that should do, right, and that's going to auto preview because I'm in the SP formatter, is that should give me that. But what's happening here is because we're drawing this every time, this div, this base div that we're holding everything, is being drawn over it every time. Because it's transparent, we don't see it that way. We don't see it being layered quite that way. And you'll see that each one of these matches is just checking what row index it's at. You can see over here, this is still the vertical line. You see row index 1 for that vertical line for 2, right, and so on. So we're literally turning these off. We're drawing them every time, except we're turning them individually off the elements. But if I wanted to fix that, what I can do is, because I'm using absolute positioning and I'm not relying on that outer box, I can just make it really tiny, right? So let's just make it 5 pixels by 5 pixels. You'll see it doesn't actually change anything because I'm not hiding the overflow. And now I should be able to come over here. And in fact, I've turned on inline edit field. Oh, I forgot I have that in there. Inline edit field, right, is now available. So you could edit these things directly if you wanted, right, instead of going back to that list. If you want to be able to update these things, you provide that experience. But we also have the tooltip studs is showing up. And the idea is we're breaking that layering. We can't do that with Z-index because, again, we are stacking these things so we can really just make that tiny. Now, if I wanted to do something, right, where I wanted to show this with a border, right, and I wanted to put a border around it or a special background, well, obviously I don't want to turn that really tiny. So what I could do is keep this root element that way and then add a child, just like the other ones, that is the background, and then I would only show that on the first one. Okay. So, wow. So, the concept here, just to wrap it up here, is when you are doing the conditional elements approach like this, where we're stacking everything on top of each other, the power in this, compared to some of the other approaches, is, say if we were doing like a bar chart, something like that, and we've got lots of samples like this, and they're great, but they generally require really wide list items, right? Because you have to have all of the information you need. So you have to have every value, every point in the series within a single item, right? And so then you end up with these lists with a single item in them, which is kind of, well, it's kind of silly, right? You're therefore matching all of your data to match your UI, which isn't really the way real life works a lot of times, right? So this is a way to take data that exists across multiple rows and put it in a single unified view. It is a complicated, advanced way to do it, but I just want to show that off. This sample is available as the tournament bracket sample, and I think that is it. There's the links, and that's it for me. Wow!
Woo! Awesome. Very, very cool as usual, Chris. Thank you so much. Tournament of Hooves, everybody. I think I'm going to binge watch it. You might even say it's going to be the main event of the year. Main event. All right, let's wrap up the call. We want to thank our amazing presenters, Benny and Nandeep Smita and Chris. Thank you, everyone, for your amazing time today, and those demos were fantastic. We have some opportunities for everybody to collaborate. We've got our Discord server, so you can connect, learn, and collaborate. You can tell your kids that you are cool because you are in a Discord server, and they'll be wowed, and they'll be like, Mom and Dad are awesome. So all you got to do, aka.ms/community/Discord. We've got over 2,100 members now, so you could be next. Get in there and join us. We also would love to hear any feedback from you. So if these calls are working well, if they could be improved in any way, we would love to hear about that. It helps us make sure that we're setting these up for you all because we appreciate the time and effort that you put in this community. We want to make sure that you are getting back what you expect. So we really appreciate all your insights. And if things are still going good and you like them, let us know that too. All right. Well, the recording will be available in 24 hours on the Microsoft Community Learning YouTube channel, aka.ms/community/YouTube. Go subscribe today. Tell it to let you know as soon as the videos drop. We will have them out within 24 hours. They will not be available within the Teams chat, even though it tells you it's ready. So the best way, get subscribed, or you can follow us on X, artist formerly known as Twitter, updates at M365PNP, or of course our LinkedIn, aka.ms/community/LI. The next M365 and Power Platform bi-weekly call 2 weeks from today, September 12th. And next week, we'll be back with the Viva Connection SharePoint Framework on September 5th. You can get access to all the calls, aka.ms/community/calls. And don't remember that Microsoft Speakers call is kicking back up on Tuesday. So less than a week away, everybody. Thank you so much for being the amazing contributors you are. We love you for all that you're doing. We appreciate you. Have a wonderful rest of your week. And for those in the States, a wonderful long weekend. Bye-bye.